Welcome to another edition of the 49er GoldCast.
San Francisco, are you ready? Bam, boom, bing. Welcome to another edition of the 49er GoldCast. I'm your host, Rudy Solis III, and with me is my brother, my co-host,
Raymond Solis the first, baby.
and our esteemed co-host,
Old Man Davis.
Bam! Here we are, gentlemen. Preseason Week 1 is done in the books. It's over, and now it's time for some early overreactions to what we see. But before we get started on that, I have a little rant. It's been in the back of my brain like a bug. Like a bug in the back.
Like the back of your throat.
The back of my throat. I can't clear it. Now I gotta
Some water.
Now I gotta cough it out. I was listening to a very famous, popular sports radio station in the Bay Area that focuses on all the major teams, and I was listening somewhere between 9:30 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. Somewhere in that chunk of time. And the hosts were talking about Tom Brady and the whole Deflategate scandal. And one of them mentioned that they felt that Tom Brady was the greatest quarterback ever. And I'll be honest,
My throat hurts.
I was so pissed off. It really took me a while, and I kept not wanting to talk about it, but here we are. It's been now 2 weeks, and I'm still pissed that you're on a San Francisco 49er channel, and you have the gall to say that Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback ever on a San Francisco 49er station? What are you talking about? First of all, it's not even true. It's not true. It's a fact. Joe Montana's the greatest quarterback ever. It's a fact. 4-11-0. The untouchable perfect stat. Scientifically proven. 4 Super Bowl appearances, 11 touchdown passes, 0 interceptions. The untouchable perfect stat. 3 MVPs. Should have had the 4th one too. But you know what? They just gave it to Jerry because it was Jerry. It was this time. But I was so angry that you're on a radio station, a very big one, maybe the most big one, maybe one we've already mentioned before, and you guys have the gall to say that you actually believe. You kiss your mother with that same mouth, and then you go on the air and tell us that Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback ever. I wanted to put my hand through the phone, 'cause I was listening to it on my phone, and I wanted to grab his neck and tell him, get the off my radio station.
There you have it.
Swine out of his mouth.
Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. Let me pull this knife out of my back. I believe this is yours.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Tell us how you really feel.
I was so angry, and for 2 weeks, it's been burning in my brain like a little fire. And every day it just got a little bigger and bigger. And finally, on this GoldCast, I was like, you know what? It. I'm going to bring this up because this is some that guy.
I love this fucking ambiguity.
Yeah. Maybe it was 95-7 the game.
Well, hopefully it wasn't Haberman and Middlecoff. Oops, did I say that?
Oh, maybe it was Middlecoff.
God, you made me so angry. I can't believe you would say that on a 49er station.
God. First of all, if you think that, why the doing their radio station? And secondly, even if you actually think that, you have the gall to say that on a 49er station? Really? Get off my radio.
One of the reasons why it's my least favorite show.
All right, guys. So let's move on to our opening segment. Preseason Week 1, Game 1. Football's back. The 49ers are back. We're going to, of course, with Week 1, Game 1 against Houston Texans, we have our early overreactions to everything that we saw past Saturday. Raymond, let's start with the early positives, Ray.
Well, you guys know me. I'm the forever optimist, not to suggest that anybody here is not. But with that said, it's really obvious for everybody who saw the game that really the biggest standout that we can all unanimously agree upon is Jared Hayne, who had a tremendous game. And what everyone's so impressed about is the fact that this guy is his first NFL game at NFL speed straight out of the rugby league. So for him to be playing, if you watch his form, he runs vertically. And not only does he run vertically, but if you watch the footage of Jared Hayne, and a lot of it is, with rugby, you have open field. The vision that he developed in his running prowess in the rugby league certainly was a seamless transition over to here, as we clearly saw with his 33-yard punt return, his 53-yard handoff run. He was just really amazing vision and great ball protection, too. Every time a defender was coming on his side, he switched hands really fast, too. A very minute detail that doesn't always happen in the NFL. Some players just get stubborn or, they're in stride and they don't necessarily want to break that stride to switch ball hands, but he did it beautifully. Did it like a veteran. I thought he did a tremendous. Another standout on the defensive side for me was Mike Purcell, who took over for the nose tackle position after Ian Williams came out of the game after playing his first series. He was amazing. 6 total tackles, 4 solo, 1 tackle for a loss, which was highlighted in that goal line stance that the defense did in the early half of the game. Didn't blow up the stat charts, but the little things he was doing. Lots of speed. He kept bursting through the line very fast. Shane Scobb was another one. 8 total tackles, 5 solos. He had a tackle for a loss as well. He was shooting the gap beautifully. Very reminiscent of Chris Borland. Not necessarily as polished as Chris Borland was out of the gate, but certainly has potential to be that kind of player, and that's what I saw out of him. He got blocked a few times. He certainly got pushed around a few times, but the other half of the time he was flying all over the place, shooting the gap and making plays. So kudos to Mike Purcell, Shane Scobb, and Jared Hayne. Those are the big standouts for me in that game.
Old Man Davis, your thoughts?
The Raiders did an excellent job against their former fellow Los Angeles City, the St. Louis Rams. Well, it was probably an unsurprising and very satisfying performance from both the offense and defense. First team, second team, and third teams. 18-3 victory Friday night. Latavius Murray. I'm just going to say that again. Latavius Murray. This silver and black team has that appetite for destruction again. I mean, you take note, boys. A good, steady quarterback, weapons on offense, a sturdy offense line, an edge pass rusher, and playmakers on defense.
I didn't watch that game.
Let me ask you a question, Old Man Davis. Did you even watch the 49ers?
I did. I was able to stay up so that I can anticipate a Saturday night game. I would have to say my details are not thorough. He's touched all bases. I can only just say Jared Hayne and the stiff arm, Blaine Gabbert and the accurate arm. I know it's just one game. It's a preseason game. But it's these donut sprinkles of flash and excitement that on Saturday night turn nobody names into playmakers this offense needs this season. And so I was glad to stay up another night to watch Saturday Night Football. And safe to say, should number 7 miss any portion of the season for whatever reason,
my Achilles hurts. All I can do is run. Oh, I tore a bicep muscle working out too hard.
Blaine, how'd you like to play some football today? How'd you like to help this team down the path to victory? Otherwise, I'd say nothing more spectacular. Defense showing some good depth, first and second teams. Coaching doing okay with the plays and getting players on the field to see who can do what where. Not a whole lot to say about just only one game in preseason. Just looking forward to another game, too.
Yeah, I concur on that last statement. Certainly, let's get on with it.
This will be the team to listen to here on the GoldCast. Silver and black.
Oh, jeez. Give me a break. Okay, I agree. I think when it comes down to preseason, I really look for the guys who, quote unquote, I feel like who wants it. Who here is trying to make the roster? Who's trying to not get cut this week? Who's out there trying to make a play and make a name for himself? And I agree 100%, Raymond, Jared Hayne for sure. I agree that Jared Hayne, 5 carries for 63 yards, averaging 12.6 yards a carry. That was great. That 33-yard kickoff return was very impressive. Just impressive simply for the fact that the guy has never, ever played in a professional football game ever. He's never played at this level. He's never played in this sport. So to walk in here and to be able to have that kind of a showing week one, I know it's preseason. That's still very impressive. Mike Purcell as well. I agree with you, Raymond. Mike Purcell, I thought he did fantastic. 4 tackles, 2 assists. Again, he wasn't perfect, but he looked hype. And he played very hard. And I thought the defensive line in general was extremely impressive. That goal line stance was fantastic. That was really, they looked a little shaky in the first series, but in the second series, they really pulled it together. I was very impressed. Okay, so now let's look at some negatives. Ray, let's start with you.
Negatives, well, I don't put a whole lot of stock in preseason because preseason's really more for the starters to get into regular season rhythm and for the rookies to really earn a roster spot. So negatives, I mean, we can say it's really hard to put negatives, especially if we're going to talk about the first string, the starters, the guys that we know are going to make the team and be there regular season, game one starts, guys like Eric Reed, Colin Kaepernick, Carlos Hyde, those types of guys. So people made some comments about Kaepernick. He only had 3 attempts. It's hard to really judge him based off of that. He overthrew Torrey Smith when they tried to go long. We're going to definitely see a lot more of that, at least once or twice or more a game. And he just missed him by a couple feet. He did make that one pass to Anquan Bolden. That was nice, a short little route in the middle, slant play. And then again, rolled out on a third down conversion. And you definitely got to make those third down conversions. And you can see him certainly trying to make a play happen there, but unfortunately ran out of bounds too late and was unaware of where he was position-wise, and tried to throw the ball away. At that point, he was out of bounds. Now, that's something that certainly should get cleaned up. On one end, I appreciate him having the attitude and the psychology to want to make a play happen, especially on a third down conversion, because then you got to punt after that, and that's in that situation. At the same time, this is going to be his official third year starting, so you want to see things like that get cleaned up, especially before the regular season, because you've got to be aware of where you are and how you're going to position your players. You got to be able to cut your losses. So if you know you're not going to be able to make the third down conversion, then definitely throw the ball away and put yourselves back at even. You got to break even at that point and put your punter at the line of scrimmage. You can't push him back any further than that, which is what he did. I'd like to see that get cleaned up. I wouldn't necessarily call it a negative, just kinks that need to get ironed out, which hopefully will within the next 3 weeks.
But can I tell you how much that bugged me? God, that just bugged me. Seeing Cap not throw. I mean, he was technically out of bounds when he threw that ball away, and I was like, why? Why do you? What? That really bugged me, and I could not stop thinking about how much that bothered me today. The fact that he did not throw that ball away in time, and I don't understand at this point, with as many games he's played at the professional level, why he would still make a mistake that basic. I don't know, man.
It's like in basketball, you're doing a layup, but you still hold on to the ball.
Yeah,
you go nowhere with it. It's not. It doesn't count as 2 points.
Yeah, and there are worse things that could have happened to Kaepernick in that game, and so I think, in my opinion, I'm going to see it for what it is, but not make it worse than it is.
Okay, but you know what? Here's what bugs me a little bit, even about like what you just said. What we're talking about is we're saying there are worse things that could have happened with Kaepernick. We're not saying all the great things he did. We're just saying there are worse things that could have happened with Kaepernick. What a bummer, dude.
It's also preseason too.
I know. Still frustrating, though. Yeah, that was my big negative. The overthrown ball, throwing the ball away too late, and then wasn't a lot of strong coverage in that first series up the middle for passing or running.
No, it got better as the game got along, but certainly not in the first series.
Yep, definitely not. Old man Davis, your thoughts?
The minuses, I think you already spoke it for me, Rudy. Thank you. -7. That's it. It's -7. -7. It's losing the game 23-10. It's legitimizing Brian Hoyer as a starting quarterback for the Houston Texans. It's all that. And a bag of chips with the dip.
With the dip. That was it. Other than that, I thought it was fine. It didn't bother me that we lost. Who cares? It's preseason. I think there was far more positives to take away than negatives.
Hey, you want to put your head in the pillow? Go ahead, boys. But you are going to basically just set out your own death wish for the rest of the season. Act like I fucking want this.
Oh, my God. This is coming from the guy who supports a team who consistently is at the bottom of the AFC West.
Oh, you got something to say now, Rudy.
Oh, yeah, I do. That leads me right into our final segment of the day. So USA Today's column For the Win released their top 30 best sports logos. 19 were from current teams, and 11 are no longer used. Curiously absent from the list were two of the best logos in all of sports, the 49ers logo and the Raiders logo. Although props to the Golden State Warriors for taking second place on that USA Today list. But this got us talking. Who has the best logo in the Bay Area? The 49ers or the Raiders? We are here to debate it. Raymond, can you break down the rules for our listeners of how these 49er GoldCast debates work?
Okay, if those of you who listened last season might be familiar with some of these rules, during our 49er debate, GoldCast debate, each GoldCast member will be sounding off against one another. They'll have 60 seconds to present their argument, followed by a 60-second rebuttal argument. after each person is gone. In this case, we will have my brother squaring off against Old Man Davis in our debate of the night.
Boom!
With that said, gentlemen, are you ready?
Just bring it.
All right.
Home team goes first.
All right, brother. In your humble opinion, contrary to what you saw in USA Today's For the Win article, who has the best Bay Area sports team logo?
Raymond, that's an easy one. Old Man Davis, the best logo in the Bay Area is the San Francisco 49ers. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. First off, the logo is San Francisco's initials, SF. San Francisco is one of the greatest cities in the world. Our colors are red and gold. Red, the color of blood, fire, and rubies. It is also the color of love. Gold is the color of one of the most precious metals in the world. It is synonymous with power, riches, and fame. The 49ers are the second most successful team in the NFL and home to some of the greatest players of all time, including the greatest quarterback of all time, Joe Montana, and the greatest wide receiver and arguably the greatest player of all time, Jerry Rice. Raiders logo is great. It is not better than the 49ers. Black is the color of death. Silver is the color of another precious metal, but it's not worth more than gold. And the reason Oakland isn't anywhere on your helmet is because Oakland kind of sucks. Your logo is synonymous with a team that has had far more failure than success. If by commitment to excellence, you mean being the most penalized team of all time, being run by one of the most vile owners of all time, and consistently scraping the bottom dregs of the league, then yes, your logo symbolizes all that. Boom.
There you have it. Wow. Old Man David, your argument.
Rudy, I really appreciate when your little pipsqueak voice gets on top of a microphone and just starts belching out these loud noises. I appreciate this juvenile approach to detail, this gold and red. All right? Not everyone is suited to be an Oakland Raiders fan. As to the style of this team, isn't one meant for a bandwagon fan. This isn't a team that follows trends. The Raiders create their own. In an era where teams in the NFL are forever changing their uniforms to create a new identity, the Raiders have kept with the same helmets, the same jerseys, the same uniforms, the same owner, me, with just minor small changes over their history as being a franchise. The color scheme, silver and black, the team name, the logo, the pirate theme, the fan base, and yes, the city in which they're located in, here in Oakland, makes without question one of the most challenging, one of the most intimidating, one of the most dangerous teams in the NFL. That's my minute. Boom!
All right, there you have that. Brother, your rebuttal.
You said they make their own legacy. What do the Raiders create? They're synonymous with failure. They're synonymous. They're the most penalized team in the league. Hey, look, the Niners have barely changed their colors ever, okay?
Okay.
You're a pirate. It's a pirate. Who cares about a pirate?
It's sustained its identity over the decades, longer than any other team in the NFL.
What does Oakland have to do with piracy? If you mean stealing things, then yes.
Not only may we just have a pirate with a football and a sword in the background, but we can go to L.A., SoCal, we can come up here in the Bay, in Northern California, and still have a fan base. You can't bring a San Francisco helmet anywhere around California. You know why? Because SF only stands for San Francisco. So stay within the limits of your region.
But you know why
we're transcendent? We're California.
You know why you're going to L.A.? Because your fan base is so loyal, they can't even buy tickets to their own team's games.
Furthermore,
that's how loyal they are. That's how committed they are to this excellence.
We have such a fan base, Rudy Rutabaga, all right? Recently, Dr. Dre and Ice Cube came out with a movie called Compton Most Wanted. Larry King, Tiger Woods, Tom Hanks, George Lopez, Santana, Too Short, Metallica. I could keep on going, Rudy, as to the great personalities of our culture, of our society that have contributed to the fabric of what makes this country great, all right? And they're fans of the silver and black. So, without question, hell, Magic Johnson is a well-known Raiders fan. And he's he's a respectable man in the community. You have yet to name anybody other than a classy Jed York as a fan of the San Francisco 49ers. And frankly, I'm disgusted to be on this GoldCast knowing that he's your owner.
Hey, you know why I don't have to name fans? Because I have the greatest players of all time on the team. So who cares about the fans? We got 5 chips,
Yeah?
6 appearances.
Well, we got
Greatest
3 chips,
quarterback ever.
and that's an odd number, just
Greatest
like
wide
yours.
receiver ever.
It's an odd. So you're right. Technically, it is an odd number.
Yeah, it is.
Just like 5.
Greatest coach of the 80s. Greatest team of the 80s. Dynasty.
Well, we had champions over more decades than you have. You're just a whisper of the 80s. That's all you'll be remembered as. We were great in the 70s, and we were great in the 80s, and now we're back again here in the millennia. Teens.
We still have the best logo.
You're not convincing.
Darn good.
I totally won that argument.
You did
Those
not.
legacy jackets are insane.
Yeah, the legacy jacket, come on.
Okay, ESPN appreciates our silver and black over yours by putting us in second place in the NFL Power Rankings Uniwatch. Go ahead and look it up.
It's ESPN's power rankings are a bunch of. It's just all fluff, Bishop.
You know, why don't you mediate and keep your mouth shut, Ray? Before I pop it. Don't make me be your dad and bend you over and spank you. We don't mess around with nonsense. You guys have played around with this cranberry red, then you went to Jesus' blood, and then you move on to, you guys are going back and forth. Why don't you pick a red that sticks? Black doesn't change. Silver and gold, yeah, we got the best medals than any other NFL team.
You don't have gold. We have gold.
I just finished saying silver. Why don't you get the earwax out of your brain, you Peabody? You're going to make me reach for my medication? I don't got a problem, because you know what? I'll be back next week.
You will be back next week. And like I already said,
here, folks.
Yeah, your colors are so great. Your people are so dedicated, they can't even fill their own stadium. Now they're going to go back to L.A.
You don't
And
know
what does
nothing.
Oakland have to do with Pirates? Well, what's that have to do? That's not related to anything. The 49ers is completely relevant because it actually is a part of our cultural history as a city.
It's a port city, Oakland!
It's actually a part of U.S. history.
Yeah, it's a part of U.S. history.
It's a port!
So? There's ports in tons of towns. Were you guys like known for pirates? Are there pirates I don't know about? Like
Yes!
Blackbeard?
Yes!
What is this?
Have you seen Captain Morgan?
Captain Morgan's not from Oakland.
Captain Morgan docked in Oakland.
So now you have to use a bottle of rum to help your argument. Look, I'm not arguing that the Raiders logo isn't good, but I'm arguing about its relevancy right now. It definitely has no relevancy. It's just a freaking pirate. It has like nothing to do with anything in Oakland. Ours makes more sense. That's why ours is better. As usual, just like in football, the 49ers are more efficient at what they do than the Raiders. That's a scientific fact.
You know what? I'll respond to that. You got my brain cells moving now more in my brain. I'm finally going to come out with how a pirate is relevant in the city of Oakland, in the city of Los Angeles, in any city. San Antonio, Carson. We go wherever we want because that's what pirates do. We take what we want for fun. We take and pillage. We loot, and we do it with excellence.
Well, okay. I'll give you this.
All right?
I'll give you
We're
this.
the villain of the NFL year after year as me being the owner of this franchise, and yet I don't get any respect by any of the other NFL owners, just like the city of Oakland has not gotten the respect of its fellow American cities. So that is why we are relevant. That is why we continue to be the underdog who strives for perfection in the name of what? The will to win. So shut your mouth, go to sleep, and wake up tomorrow knowing Silver and Black is here to stay, and we're taking number 1.
I will agree.
I'm out. I'm done.
Last thing. I agree. The Raiders are definitely committed to 4th place year in and year out, without question. Nobody is stealing that spot from them. That is theirs. Now I'm out.
And I think the GoldCast is out.
So that concludes another edition of the 49er GoldCast. Raymond, who are we playing this week?
We're playing the Dallas Cowboys in Santa Clara in the spirit of San Francisco at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Sunday.
Bam! Raymond, where can they find you?
They can find me on Twitter at Ray Solis. In addition, they can also find me on Instagram at RealRaySF.
Awesome. Raymond, where can they find the 49ers GoldCast?
They can find them on Twitter at 49ers GoldCast. In addition, they can find us on Facebook. Just type in 49ers GoldCast in your search bar, and you will see us there, all connected, all plugged in, all the time.
That's right. Also find us on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube. The easiest way to find it right now is to click on the actual YouTube icon that you're playing this from. So click there, and that's the easiest way to find us right now. You can also like our Facebook fan page. Do that as well. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Rudy Solis 3RD, Rudy Solis 3rd, RUDYSOLIS 3RD. Old Man Davis, where can they find you?
You can find me at the OCO Coliseum.
That's it. All right, gentlemen, well, good job. That concludes another edition of the 49er GoldCast. I'm your host, Rudy Solis III, and with me is my brother, my co-host,
Raymond Solis the first, baby.
and our esteemed co-host,
Old Man Davis.
Bam. We'll see you guys next time. Same GoldCast time, same GoldCast channel.
Silver and black always wins.
Red and gold, baby.
Baby.